Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Gassia and I am one of Mitch's colleagues working at the National Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship under the Ministry of Economy of the Republic of Armenia. So Mitch has kindly invited me to host this episode where I will soon introduce two special guests from Australia. Mitch has featured them on the episode on the channel before, but wanted to take the opportunity since they are already in Armenia now. However, before we begin, Mitch wants to reassure all of you that he and Mrs. Mitch will continue to post the regular videos of Armenian life with Mitch in the future. As promised a few episodes before, Mitch also wanted to showcase the amazing talent pool of Armenian and non-Armenian professional entrepreneurs, medical professionals, scientists, and other great NGOs that are all contributing to the future development of our nation.
Hi everyone, I'm still here. Gassia is going to do a quick costume change and then we're going to go up, then she's going to go up and interview Len and Armine from Australia. So stay with us.
So now it is my great pleasure to introduce our two special guests who repatriated recently from Australia and are doing very big projects in Areni and other regions. Len and Armine, welcome to Armenia. Okay. So now, could you please tell me about yourselves? Let's start with Areni.
As I'm originally from Yerevan and moved to abroad 11 years ago when I got married to Len. I used to work in National Survey for Seismic Protection, looking after experimental fish, and also after that I was doing more office work. But moving to Australia, I decided to change my direction and I was trained in hospitality services like hotels and restaurants. And Len?
Thank you for this opportunity. My name's Len. I am originally Australia and New Zealand's dual citizenship, but now I'm married to an Armenian. I think I'm half high.
More than half.
Of course, my wife helped me to open my eyes a little bit about this part of the world, though I've extensively travelled, and my background is in aviation mainly. So my last position for the last decade has been working for the United Nations Specialised Agency, ICAO, International Civil Aviation Organization. And in this regard, I've been assisting Armenia to up its safety standards because as we know, landlocked nation, Armenia certainly needs its air connectivity.
Mm-hmm. And how and why did you decide to Armenia? Did she make the effort for you to move, or?
Actually, it was Len's decision to move to Armenia, but it came after, like every year when we were coming to Armenia, so we were visiting different parts of Armenia, like doing sightseeing. And during that time when we were traveling in rural Armenia, Len always was surprised why our fields are empty. Mm-hmm. There was no villagers, there was no animals, nothing. So, and also, of course, like traveling through the villages, he could see how poor the villages were. So he came with the idea of our charity project, which he called Adopt a Village. Mm-hmm. So every year we would come and do some projects in the villages. In the beginning it was Vayots Dzor, but now also in Arat region and Shirak regions. And we actually understood that doing projects only a couple of times during the year and also managing it from far, it's not that easy and also not effective. Mm-hmm. So then
Yes, I think it's fair to say that we understood eventually we would move here, but what precipitated the move at this time, especially during COVID, was that during my time with the United Nations, as I mentioned, I had been assisting in my private time the Armenian authorities with regard to civil aviation, and I was advised that I should not do that from my headquarters. I won't go into the details, which I promptly resigned from the United Nations because I I believe it's more important in one's life to try and do as much good as possible. And so it just sort of moved our plans ahead a little bit. And here we are.
Very nice. So I heard from Mr. Mitch that Peter that you guys are working on the Areni open air museum or Areni Lodge. I checked the website and I usually follow up, but I wanted to say, can you give more information about the project, and if some of our viewers can help you in a way? Do you need assistance in anything? And when is the opening?
Okay, so I'll start with the last. The opening is hopefully sometime in June, but of course we're doing internal outfitting at the moment, and schedules are not something that are exact. I found in Armenia. Actually, we should have been open at the end of last year, but that's okay.
That's for Areni Lodge.
Yeah, that's for Areni Lodge. Yes.
Are we invited?
Of course you are. I have a lot of wine to drink. So with Areni Lodge, I should stress that it is a centre for our charity projects. It's not just a business as such. We have a very close relationship with the good people there in the municipality. With this, we hope to do a lot of training for the agricultural diversification. We have a liaison with Green Lane NGO, and we also, or perhaps I may not speak about hospitality training.
Yeah, we also will organize trainings for hospitality, not just for our staff, but also for people from outside. Mm-hmm. So whoever wants to come and to be trained, they are welcome.
For example, can companies, if they want to give training to their employees, just send their employees, do a contract with you, and you give them the training, or?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah? And you are personally going to give that, or?
Yeah, we will be doing it ourselves, and also right now we are talking with different organizations about collaboration.
Very nice.
Yeah, so for example, the courses are supposed to be very comprehensive. So we're looking especially at the safety aspects. Mm-hmm. So some of the modules will include fire safety, food safety, and we will bring in external agencies. We're also hoping to work with the American University here. We will be talking to them. The whole idea is to eventually try and bring a nationwide certification program, because we notice that many hospitality workers here in restaurants and hotels, they don't see their job as a profession. It's just a job, right? Whereas if you go to Europe, a place like Italy, they're very proud of being a barista or a maitre d', some profession like this. We believe that sort of certification is very important to raise the standards and thereby give the visitors to this beautiful country.
Are there any other projects that you guys are working on?
Yeah, you have mentioned Areni Open Air Cultural Museum. It is done under our Dr. Village project. Actually, we might start from origins.
Yes, just to give the big picture, there are two complementary projects. One is about attracting interest in Armenia at the higher level, so trying to put Armenia on the map as such, because we can see all the world's attention on certain places, but no attention on Armenia. So I don't want anyone to say to me, Armenia, Romania, this is a common response. So that's the Origins project, and I'll give you one small example of that. We started to create the Silk Road Wine Trail. This will involve hopefully collaborating with a number of wineries to be a little more open and receptive to visitors, as you might find, for example, in Europe or Australia. The other project is, as Armene has mentioned, the Adopt a Village project, and that's in part about trying to prepare people for them. Because it's no good if people come and they can't find the attractions, or they can't communicate with the locals, or they get very bad service. So Adopt a Village is about preparing the rural areas. It's very, very important because most of the effort has been really about urban development, particularly Yerevan, and we want to make sure that the rural population get good job opportunities to stay in their villages.
And not just that, but also it's a beautification of the villages, cleaning up the villages and across the roads and all that. So we want people visiting Armenia to see beautiful Armenia.
I should just
And also, we want people to come to Armenia, not only in Yerevan or just the Northern Avenue, just see whatever we have in the regions and all the beautiful destinations.
This is the heartland, and yet so many people come to Yerevan and they leave Yerevan and they say they visited Armenia. Well, I would challenge that perspective, because the heartland, in my view, where the culture and the natural landscapes are, is that rural area. But as we can see, it's being left, really. Even the second city, Gyumri, is being left. It's really shameful. As is, we found with the museum project itself, some of the attitude from the people outside in the diaspora, because for that project, we as a family are providing 1/3 of the monies for the construction. And that's a municipality-run project, so this will be run by them on our land for their benefit, shall I say. But for the other 2/3, we've been fundraising, and we found that most of the funds come from non-Armenians. It's a bit shocking. And we found also, through our experience, that many Armenian organisations there are very, in the West particularly, are self-centred. They not terribly interested in the poverty, they're more interested in the politics of Armenia. So I say to them that they should put their politics aside and try and consider direct support for rural Armenia, the most vulnerable part, where unfortunately it's also a national security issue when there's depopulation.
I think you shouldn't be surprised that they are non-Armenians. Maybe you are an inspiration for them. So what's the biggest challenge for Armenia going forward, and what's the most beautiful aspect of Armenia? You can have different views of this answer, like I can take Armenia's answer.
Yeah.
You start?
You start.
So, the biggest challenges is our mentality here, and also that people can't see the opportunities. They are not able to change, and for them even it's difficult to do the changes when you are offering them. They don't have the same vision as, for example, Armenians or non-Armenians would be having when they're visiting Armenia.
Absolutely.
Can you say what's the most beautiful aspect of Armenia?
Okay. The most beautiful aspect is our family, like caring about our families and friends.
Yes, certainly Armenian families are very special. The extended nature of the family is something that's been lost in the West, and you know, here also there's not much time compared to the West. So I would challenge anyone in the West to think about their lifestyle. Also, the cost of living is quite low here, so they can consider this is a very special place to bring their children in particular. Yes, but my wife mentioned the mindset. When we look at, for example, at what's happening inside the families, we see a cycle of problems. For example, we know about the excess alcohol consumption by the males, cigarette smoking in front of children, giving children sugary drinks, not brushing teeth. These are small things but very important, because I think you'll agree the health of the nation depends upon what we eat and what we do. And we've been trying to change our families' perspectives and make them understand that to love your children, you have to do certain things and be a little bit strict, not have them running around till 1 o'clock in the morning. But they're struggling because it's just kind of a habit. So it's the mentality. And just the final part about the problems, the division that I mentioned earlier, not just within the diaspora, but also here. It's frustrating to me, and that's why we commissioned, for the museum Khatkar of all Armenians. It's a visible symbol, we think, it's going to bring, hopefully, Armenians together to understand that everyone is Armenian, even Armenians by choice like myself, so we can be strong together in the face of this adversity. Last but not least, we should mention the beautiful landscapes in this country. Even ones that are not mentioned so often, like Noravan Gorge, Simbata, which is an incredible castle. Even some Armenians don't know about it. There's so many undiscovered beautiful places in this country, so we look forward to inviting so many people to come and visit us.
That would be great. What would you like to say to the Armenians living abroad?
I have a challenge for Armenians. Gargan Nishti quoted a very important point, that one should support the homeland regardless of who was politically in charge. And I believe this is very relevant today, as it has been. The problem is many people are getting all upset at who's in power or not in power, and it's almost consumed people in the West, even here, but less so. So the problem here is that we've got to convince people to look past the politics and look at the advancements. I mean, we've only been here a few weeks now, and we noticed so many positive changes. For example, I can now walk across a pedestrian crossing in almost safety. This was not the case before, and the cars are actually stopping. This is only a small example. I know that this is caused by some fines and things like this, but you always need character to set with human beings. You know, the smoking. Yesterday, the people were supposed to stop smoking inside restaurants. These are all advancements, and I'd like to challenge people to not think of the past and even the troubles of most recent, or even the politics, to come. Maybe you can't migrate like us. Maybe you can only come for a short time, but come, keep an open mind, and let's build this country, and especially the rural areas. Don't just come to Yerevan and invest. It doesn't need any more parks or monuments or anything like that, although it could do with some monuments of famous women, I might add. There's none of those, right?
Yes.
Come, keep an open mind, and help build this country. It's extremely important.
Yeah, and I wanted to add that when we are helping our families from outside, please don't just give them money for their expenses, but create even like small job for them, because just giving them money, we actually make them lazy.
Yes.
And they just don't want to work.
They just
But
rely
if
on
we
that.
create the work, then actually they will not need that support from outside. They will be able actually to look after themselves and support their neighbor, for
Yes.
example.
That's right. One last question. If you had the power to change one thing in Armenia, what would it be?
That's easy. It's as we mentioned earlier, it's the mentality. I try not to be frustrated because I know that it's something of the culture, but culture changes,
Yes.
you know? And don't just blame everything on the Soviet Union because, sorry, Armenians have been indigenous people here for thousands of years and should have built this beautiful country and strengthened it even before the Soviet era. We now have opportunity. We don't look back, we look forward to the positive. This is, we need to change the mentality to be positive, to look what there is here. There is so much more in Armenia than many countries. You have an incredibly rich culture and history, which we're trying to show to the world and with the museum, which is, by the way, not just a museum to highlight the culture, but it's a direct message to those who would wish to commit cultural genocide, which we know is a forerunner for ethnic cleansing. So in a way, what we're trying to do is we're trying to ensure that the rich culture of this country is not just known by the world, but is celebrated by the world, despite the challenges that we have.
That's great. Anything else?
Also, how you say? Shrugging shoulder
Oh,
attitude.
I call it the shrug shoulder attitude.
If we
Don't
change
do
that,
this. if you see something wrong, challenge it. Make sure that that the next person who comes doesn't have such a bad experience. We know that the government is overloaded, has a lot on its plate, and the people are trying their best. We understand this. But to make change, people should not just walk away from the problem. They should suggest a solution. They should write to their representatives. They should engage with government to try and improve. Don't just complain, and don't shrug shoulders, but come with solutions, because together we can build this country.
So the message is, let's be united, and as Len said, build country together, and each of us should do their part, small or big, doesn't matter.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure having you here at NCIE. Thank you so much. We really look forward for the big projects, and we will look forward to visit Areni Lodge and be part of all the developments. If you need anything, you know that we have our back. Thank you so much.
We just ask that people listening help us to spread the word. We're just ordinary people, and that's what we talk about, being united. Just spread the word, and hopefully together we can do this.
We can do great things.
And also, actually, if someone interested about our journey, they can follow us on the YouTube channel by Dziadzan.
That would be great. Petros, like last time when we went to Korea, we can put the links.
When you see them.
People will just send the link. Thank you so much.
Okay, let's do it. Oi.